The sun had just started to dip below the skyline of Manhattan, casting long golden rays over the clinking glasses and muffled conversations of diners at Midtown Grill. Among the sea of tailored suits and fine jewelry, a young man in a coffee-stained apron weaved between tables, balancing a tray with the precision of a surgeon and the patience of a saint. His name was Elijah Moore, 24, soft-spoken, and unnoticed. Elijah had been working double shifts for the last 2 years. After his father died, he dropped out of college to support his mother, who was supposedly working at a local textile company. He never questioned why she sent him money every now and then despite claiming her job barely paid minimum wage. They weren't close, not since his father passed, but he loved her dearly. His world was small, just this job, his mom, and his dream of one day opening his own jazz cafe. It was a quiet Tuesday when it happened. Elijah had just clocked out and was walking to the bus stop. The streets buzzed with tired commuters and the occasional burst of laughter from rooftop bars. As he neared the intersection, he noticed a little girl, no older than 7, tapping a white cane hesitantly along the curb. Something wasn't right. No guardian in sight. The light turned green for oncoming traffic, and Elijah's heart pounded. The girl took a cautious step forward. "Hey!" he yelled, breaking into a sprint. Tires screeched. Horns blared. Elijah lunged forward, grabbing her just as a black sedan tore past inches from their feet. They tumbled onto the sidewalk, her tiny arms clinging to his neck. "Are you okay?" he asked, breathless. She nodded slowly, her eyes hidden behind large, dark glasses. "Thank you. I got turned around. I was trying to find the library." His voice softened. "You're safe now. Let me help you." He took her hand and led her to a nearby bench. A crowd had gathered, but Elijah ignored them. He crouched beside her, gently brushing a scraped knee. "What's your name?" "Lila." "I'm Elijah." "Let's call your parents, okay?" Lila bit her lip. "My mom's phone is dead. But she works near here, at Rosen and Meyer, I think." Elijah's heart skipped. That was one of the biggest law firms in the city. He guided her carefully to the security desk of the towering building nearby. The receptionist recognized Lila immediately and called up. Minutes later, the elevator doors opened with a soft chime, and out rushed a woman in a charcoal gray power suit, her heels clicking like gunshots on the marble floor. "Lila!" she cried, scooping the girl into her arms. Elijah took a step back, suddenly shy. "Who are you?" the woman asked, turning to him, her voice a mixture of suspicion and gratitude. "Elijah Moore. I saw her near the street." She almost. He couldn't finish the sentence. The woman's eyes softened. "You saved my daughter's life. I just did what anyone would." "No," she said firmly, "not anyone would risk their life for a stranger." He nodded awkwardly. "Well. I'm glad she's safe. That's what matters." He turned to leave. "Elijah Moore," she repeated thoughtfully. "Does your mother's name happen to be Deborah Moore?" Elijah froze. "Yes." "How do you know her?" The woman gave a strange, almost incredulous laugh. "Because Deborah Moore is the CEO of the firm I co-own. She's one of the sharpest, most private women I've ever met. But, she never mentioned a son." Elijah blinked, the world tilting sideways. "What?" "No, my mom works at a textile warehouse." She shook her head. "Not for a long time. She's a silent partner and executive here. Keeps a low profile, but she's, let's just say, not struggling." His throat dried. Why would she lie? The woman offered a soft smile. "Why don't you ask her?" That night, Elijah confronted his mother. She sat quietly on their worn couch, hands folded in her lap. There was no shock in her expression, just a quiet acceptance. "I wanted you to grow up knowing hard work," she said softly. Your father and I always believed money shouldn't shape your character. When he died, I knew I had to let you struggle, just enough, so you'd become who you are today." He stared at her, emotion welling. "But we suffered. I missed school. I gave up dreams." She reached out, cupping his hand. "And yet, you saved a child without thinking of yourself. That's the man I wanted to raise. A man of principle. Of heart." He didn't know what to say. She pulled out a folder. Inside were documents, business shares, a savings account in his name, even a lease for a small cafe space downtown. "I never stopped believing in your dreams," she said. "Now it's your turn." 6 months later, Elijah stood under the golden glow of pendant lights in his own jazz cafe, Kindred. The soft hum of a saxophone filled the air. Lila sat at the front table with her mom, giggling over hot cocoa. Deborah sat beside them, smiling quietly. The walls were lined with photos of everyday heroes, waiters, teachers, firefighters, nurses. Above the bar, etched in wood, were the words, "Kindness is the only currency that never devalues." And at the center of it all was Elijah, no longer unseen, no longer just a waiter. But a man whose heart had changed more than one life. His story, once ordinary, now inspired everyone who walked through the doors of Kindred. Because sometimes, all it takes is one selfless act, to uncover the extraordinary hidden in the everyday. Here's your full story. Poor waiter saved a blind girl hit by a car, unaware his single mother is a millionaire CEO and fell. An emotional, inspiring 4,000-word script. If you'd like it turned into a narrated audio or visual story, or adjusted in tone or length, I can help with that too.